If you're looking to go to Brazil in 2025, you need to know about the Brazil visa coming out. Hey guys, this is Ozzie from Wanderlust Awe Syndrome, where I provide unique views, advice, and stories for you, the passionate traveler. Today we're going to talk about the Brazilian visas that are coming out in 2025, and I'm going to tell you what you need to do if this affects you. The first thing we're going to cover is when it's supposed to come out. The date for this is April 10th, 2025. The reason for this date is because the Brazilian government is doing it in line with the Euro countries such as France into doing their version of a visa called the ETIAS. If you have not heard about this, I did a video covering about that process and getting a visa to go to the Euro countries. Check that out. Keep this in mind. They was going to push this visa, the Brazilian visa, out in 2024, but it got pushed back for many reasons. It was going to reintroduce it. Even so, with COVID happening and tourism being affected, they decided to drop it for a bit during the administration, the Brazilian administration back then. Now they're reintroducing it back in 2025 and to get the visa back into operations for those affected. You have to keep in mind that governments change almost every day, and what one current administration might want, they might get voted out. And because of that, a new administration might come in and might say, no, we're gonna have to drop it. Or even the current administration might say that this hurts tourism dollars and this is affecting people who depend on those tourism dollars. So the administration might change its mind. So keep that in mind if you are affected to apply for these visas, that the government could change its mind, and you might have to apply or you might not. It just depends on the current conditions of the Brazilian government. The second thing we're going to cover is who does it affect. This affects Americans, Australians, and Canadians. The reason that this visa process is being reintroduced is the number of people who come to Brazil every year, particularly from Americans. In the CNN report, over 400,000 Americans travel to Brazil every year. It is the second largest group of travelers behind Argentinians. That's a lot of Americans who travel. And if you live in this country, you will understand, especially if you live in the northern parts of this country, such as New York or Montana, where the cold is really brutal out there. And it snows a lot during those months, in the colder months. So a lot of Americans and Canadians want to escape that weather. So they look to Brazil, where it's a big country, it's very affordable, and there's a lot of things to see and do while you can get tons of sunlight. A lot of people want to go to that place and escape their frozen tundra areas. As for the Australians, I really don't know why so many Australians go to Brazil. I think they hear a lot of news and information about Brazil, and I believe a lot of Australians feel like they have a similar bond to Brazilians, in my opinion. But I think they do the same thing as many Americans and Canadians. So when their winter happens, which is summer in the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of Australians tend to fly to Brazil because of what they hear. I mean, I believe from my experience that a lot of Australians do like to party, and Brazil is a party country. A lot of Brazilians love the party. So I believe those two factors lead for the reason for Australians to want to travel. That's the main reason why this is coming back, because so many Americans are coming back. Now, at one point, I have to say that you could go, and you still can now, you could go down to Brazil without a visa and you can do whatever you want down there. So keep that in mind. If you're going now and you don't want to deal with the visa, now is the time to go before this gets put out. The third thing we're going to talk about is the cost. How much you have to pay for these visas and what's the process. The cost to get a Brazilian visa is $80.90 US. Also, you need to provide a bank statement showing that you have about $2,000 to fund the trip you're going in Brazil. The good thing about this is that you can apply on an e-visa. You don't have to go to a Brazilian consulate or embassy to apply. You can if you want to, if you want to make a weekend trip, for example, to Washington, D.C., but you could do this on e-visa. Again, this can change depending on the administration down in Brazil. So keep that in mind and stay current on top of what's going on if you're looking to travel to Brazil. The fourth topic we need to cover is, why is the Brazilian government doing this? The simple answer is reciprocity. For example, a Brazilian who wants to travel to the United States must pay $185 on top of doing all the process. They gotta have a letter of invitation. They gotta have a letter of intent. They gotta do all of this to go to the United States, to my home country. And the Brazilian government is saying, look, if Brazilians have to do all this process, we need to do the same thing for Americans or Canadians or Australians who are interested in coming down to Brazil. Also, obviously, it's about money. The government gets money. Government always wants money no matter where it comes from, and Brazil government is no exception. If they can make money off those three countries from tourism from those three countries, they will do it. So it's those two factors, reciprocity and to make money. The last and final reason we're going to cover is it still worth it? You can look at this in two ways, a negative light or a positive light. In the negative light, you can look at it as this is another step to make it very difficult for you to go to Brazil. You have to pay money, you have to show proof that you have the money with a bank statement that has personal information just to prove that you can fund the trip, and you have to wait. So now you have to add all of this to your planning and make sure that you got the visa prior to going to Brazil. So in a sense, this could turn a lot of people who are interested into traveling to Brazil that they have to do much more work or effort to go. You can look at it out of the positive light, the way I see it, and I say it's worth it. Because yes, you have to pay a visa and you have to do all this stuff, but if you've ever been to Brazil, you should know how wonderful the country is. Not only is the country very affordable to go travel in, but it's a big country, it's a very diverse country. Beautiful people, beautiful nature, such as the beaches, delicious food, and like I said, it's a very diverse culture where one area you think you are seeing how different it is from all the other parts if you've been to Brazil. And Brazil is such a wonderful country, and like I said, it is a big country that is very much worth exploring. On top of that, Brazil borders so many countries such as Argentina that you can go into at any time if that's part of your planning of going to different places down in South America. So Brazil is very attractive for that reason. My personal experience is it's worth it. I can't wait to return one day. It is a wonderful country. I had a marvelous time. I learned a lot, and I think if you decide to go or want to go, that you will get a similar experience as I did. So I think it's worth it. You should go, and that's the way I see it, in my opinion. If you like this video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. You are helping this channel very much. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. Also check out my other videos, whether you are a rookie traveler or a veteran. These videos are there to help you to plan your trips, to give you an idea of what to expect. If you need help with visas, such as a Nigerian visa, I got one coming for you. So check those videos out. They're there for you. And I got an awesome group of people who are here right now, awesome group of family of passionate travelers. And I just want to say thank you very much.